Welcome back to the Kiso Coding Lessons, the Spelling Bee project. In the previous lesson, we have demonstrated how the Spelling Bee game must work. Now let us get busy with coding the game in Scratch. Before we start coding, we need to do a plan or a diagram showing how the code is going to look like. Do not worry if this does not make sense at first. You will understand what we are doing now when you start coding. However, please remember that it is always important to create a plan of your code before you start coding, as this will make your job much easier. This is what we must tell our code to do. In step 1, add a sprite and a backdrop that you like to give your game some life and fun. In step 2, create the two lists. Name the first list words and the second list recording. In step 3, record the sounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 as we have discussed in the previous lesson. In step 4, create an event to start the code. In step 5, we will add the items to the two lists using code. The list called words will have the four words spring, summer, autumn, and winter. The list called recordings will have four numbers. The list called recordings will have four numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, indicating the numbering of the sound recordings of the four words, where 1 is spring, 2 is summer, 3 is autumn, and 4 is winter. In step 6, we will add a repeat block to repeat the following instructions until the list of words is empty. Select an item randomly from the list, call that item A. You will need to create a variable for this item. Let us call the variable A as well. Say the following by playing the sound. Please spell the word and also play a sound number item A from the list recordings to dictate the words that you need to be spelled to the learner. Wait for the learner to type in the answer. If the answer is the same as item A from the list words, then the learner has spelled the word correctly. Tell the learner that they have spelled the word correctly by playing the sound. Great, that is correct. Remove the correctly spelled word item A from the list. Else, if the answer is not the same as item A from the word list, then the learner has spelled the word incorrectly. Tell the learner that they have spelled the word incorrectly by playing the sound. Sorry, that's incorrect. Please try again later. In this case, do not remove the incorrectly spelled word item A from the list so that the learner can try again later to spell the word when it is chosen. The instructions A, B, C, D, and E above will be repeated until the list is empty. Once the list is empty, in step 7, we will play the sound "Well done, you have completed the spelling bee test" to tell the learner that they have completed the spelling bee test. Great, this is fantastic. Now let us start coding. Please open your browser and type in scratch.mit.edu in the address bar and click enter. Once the website has loaded, please sign in if you already have not signed in. Type in your username and your password and click sign in. Once you have signed in, click on create to start the Scratch editor. You can see the new project has been created with the default sprite 1, which we will go ahead and remove. And what we will do is in step 1, we'll add a sprite and a backdrop. We are going to load a backdrop. The backdrop that I want to use is this backdrop. You can use any backdrop. And then I'm going to load in a sprite. I'm going to use the sprite. You can use any sprite as well. I just want to use the sprite here, which makes it my spelling bee project looks fun and full of life, and it really looks like a spelling bee project. I am going to position the bee so that it does not block the circle here, which is what I'm planning to use as a clock in the future. And then I'm going to reduce the size to 70. So you can make and customize your sprite and your backdrop whichever way you want to, as we have learned in the previous lessons. Once you have customized your backdrop and your sprite, the next thing is to create the two lists, the list called words and the list called recordings. To create the list, you go to variables, you click on make a list. We will make the list for all sprites for now, so we will have a list called words. Then we create another list by clicking on make a list again, make a list. Then we call that list recordings, and then also we agree to use that list for all of the sprites. Okay, that is done. You can see the two lists that we have just created here. Here is the list of words and the list of recordings. The two lists are currently empty. This is indicated by looking at the length of the list, which is 0, which means that it has 0 items inside. If we had 2 words inside the list, it will say length 2. If we had 4 words, it will say length 4. Recordings also is empty because we have not added any items into the lists. Remember, we have discussed that we will add the items into the list using the code. The next step of what we need to do is to record the sounds. To record the sounds, we click on the sounds tab here. If you look at the sounds tab, we have an empty panel, meaning that we have not recorded any sounds. The sounds that are currently available can be accessed by clicking the symbol at the bottom. If you click choose sound, it will show you the sounds that are available inside the Scratch program. If you hover the mouse over the sound, it will play the sound to let you know what the sound sounds like. So since we have decided that we're not going to use any of the sounds within the Scratch program, we are going to record our own sounds. So we'll just get out of here by clicking back, and then we will start the recording of our own sounds. We will also use the speaker emblem here at the bottom, and then we'll move up to the microphone where it says record, and then we click record. You will need a computer with an able microphone to do this. Most tablets will have microphones. Most laptops also have microphones. Only if you are using a desktop, or you will need a headset or a headphones with microphone functionality. When you click this for the first time, you will be asked if you want to let scratch.mit.edu access your microphone. Please click allow so that it allows the microphone to work. You will see that as I'm speaking, it is showing that it is sensing my voice by indicating in here with the green tab going all the way orange to red. If you have not enabled your mic, this will not be functioning and you will not be able to record your voice. Okay, let's click record and record the first sound, which is spring. Spring. We click stop, then we can play that. Spring. I am not happy with the recording, so I'm going to click re-record. Record again. Spring. Then let me play that. Spring. Okay. I am happy with that recording. I'm just going to trim a bit at the beginning. To trim, if you want to trim the recording, you can just drag and drag these handlebars going back and forth if you want to trim what you do not like. So I am just going to trim a little bit because there's too much space at the beginning of that. Then I will just save the sound spring. You can see now it comes into this tab. It comes into this pane where you can see recording 1. We don't want to call it that recording 1. We want to call it spring. So I type in here spring and I press enter. Now it has changed to be spring. We move on to the second recording by clicking at the speaker symbol at the bottom and then record. The next sound is summer. So we click record. Summer. Then you click stop recording once you have said the word summer. Let's play it. Summer. I am happy with that. We just click on save. Then we change the name to summer. Click enter. Then we come back again to the speaker symbol at the bottom. Record. The next word is autumn. Click record and then stop once you have said the word. Autumn. Let's play. Autumn. I'm also happy with that, but there's too much of a space at the beginning, so I'm going to reduce it by just dragging this. So I'm going to save it. Then I change the name to autumn. Then enter. Next one, winter. Click record. Winter. Play it. Winter. Remember, you click record, you say the word, then you click stop. Then we can save that. Then we change the name to winter. Enter. The sound, now we have sound number 1, sound number 2, sound number 3, and sound number 4, which represent the 4 seasons of the words that we will be using in the spelling test. Now we need to give those instructions. Remember, sound number 5 was please spell the word. Let us record that. Click record. Please spell the word. Please spell the word. I'm happy with it. I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to say, call it spell the word. Spell the word. Okay. It works fine. Let us click enter. It's fine. So that becomes sound number 5. Let's add another one. Great. That is correct. That's what we need to record. Great. That is correct. Let's play it. Great. That is correct. I'm happy with it. I'm going to save it. If you're not happy, you just click re-record and then you record it again until you are happy. So then I'm saying correct. I'm going to name it correct. Enter. Another sound. Next we are going to record sound number 7, which says sorry, that is incorrect, please try again later. Okay, then we come in here, we click record. Sorry, that is incorrect, please try again later. Okay, let's see. Sorry, that is incorrect, please try again later. Yeah, you see, sometimes it looks like it can just crop onto your sound, so just make sure that these bars are not or covering over your sound, so that when it saves the right sound. Let's play it again. Sorry, that is incorrect, please try again later. I'm happy with it, so I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to call it incorrect. Incorrect. Enter. Last sound, sound number 8. Let's record that. Remember, the sound says, well done, you have completed the spelling bee test. Well done, you have completed the spelling bee test. Okay, let's play that. Well done, you have completed the spelling bee test. Great, I'm happy with it. I'm going to save it and I'm going to call it complete. That is good. Click enter. That's it. We are done with saving the sounds. So inside the sound tab, we have sound 1, sound 2, sound 3, sound 4, sound 5, sound 6, sound 7, sound 8. That's how they are named inside there. This is not a user list. This is just the sounds, how they are saved onto our project. Let's go back to the code by clicking code here. Remember, in step number 3, we are supposed to bring in an event that controls the starting of the program. Let's go to events. We click on events. We want to say when green flag is clicked, then the code can start to work. So we bring that. When the green flag is clicked, what we said we wanted to do, if you remember the list again, after that, now you have to start populating the lists. Now you have to start adding items onto the list. If you want to see how, now we are going to start adding items to the list. We add items using the variables tab again. You click on variables. If you look at the two lists that we have, recordings and words, then we can say add thing to recordings, and if you click here you have words, recordings, words, and then if you want to rename list or delete recordings. But right now it says add thing to recordings. Let's bring this here. Thing is anything we want to add. Let me click this and show you that. If you click this, it add thing to recordings, but we don't want to do that, so we will bring this one that says delete one of recordings, which means item 1 of recordings. If you click that, it deletes thing. So what we want to do is we want to add spring to recordings. Let's duplicate this. Then you want to add summer to recordings. Then you can duplicate this again, duplicate. Then you add autumn to words. Then you can duplicate this. Then you add winter. Perfect. Now if we bring all this together and then you click the green flag, spring, summer, autumn, and winter have been added into the list words, and then the length of the list is 4. So if we want to delete an item from the list words, we want to delete item 1, we just click delete 1 of words and it deletes spring. If we want to delete 4, we change this number to 4 and click, oh, there's no item 4, so it have moved it all up, so it's only 3 items, so we can delete 3, so it deletes winter. So then there's only 2 items, so you can use delete. So if you click this again, it adds spring, summer, autumn, and winter, but it adds on to already what the list had. So this will be a problem. So what does this mean? That is, every single time we start the code, we need to clear the list so that the list is empty, so that when we add 1, 2, 3, 4 only. So if you look in here, it says delete all of recordings, but we want to delete of words. We change that and we bring it and then we snap it right here at the top. So if you click the green flag, it deletes all and then it adds spring, summer, autumn, and winter. It will always do that. I am happy with that. So now we need to focus on the list recordings. Remember, in recordings we are going to add numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, so that they indicate, if you click on sounds here, they indicate sounds 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remember that, please. Let's go back to code. So we are going to add into recordings, we're going to add 1. Can duplicate this. Then we are going to add 2. Duplicate this. Going to add 3, going to duplicate this, then we are going to add 4. See, it's already, if we click it, it adds it. So let's bring the one that says delete all of recordings. We click that, it deletes them, and then we say add, it adds 1, 2, 3, 4. If you click it again, it adds on to that. So which means that also we will need to have inside our code here, let's remove this. Remember to remove, you just drag it back. We need to delete everything before we start adding. Okay, this is our code right now, which I'm happy with. We can run it by clicking the green flag. It deletes all the word items and then it adds them again. Then it deletes all the recordings. If we have anything left in there, then it adds 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. On the list, we are done. We have completed our 2 lists. So then the next item in the list is step number 6, which is that repeat loop that will keep selecting a random item from the list words and dictate it to the user to spell. If the user has spelled it correctly, it removes it. If the user has not spelled it correctly, it does not remove it, to let the user be able to try again later. So we need a repeat block. And remember, we need to repeat until the list is empty. We need to repeat until the list is empty. So let's go back to control where we have our repeat loops. The loop that we know we need, the repeat loop that we know we need is repeat until. We want to repeat until this list is empty. Currently the length of the list is 4. We want to repeat until the length is 0. So let us do that. Let's look into the operators. We want to repeat until zero. What will be 0? Go to variable and see. Repeat until length of width is 0. That's when the list is empty, as we indicated at the beginning of the coding when we have the list that was empty and the length was 0. Let me just do that again just to show you that. I'm going to delete all the ways the list is empty, the length is 0. So we are going to repeat until the length of width is 0. So we are going to select an item from the list at random. That item is, if you look inside the list, you have item 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we are going to have a variable, as we have stated, called a. So let's make that variable, which will be the item number. That variable will be the item number. So let's make a variable by click make a variable. We're going to make it for all sprites. We're going to say variable a. We have made that variable, and as you can see, it is here. So currently now the variable is 0. We have not assigned any value for it, so the default value becomes 0. So if we assign the variable value, how do we do that? We set a value of the variable. Okay, so if we set a value here, 2, set the variable value, you see it changes to 2. So we are going to set this a to a random value so that we choose any random number in here. So how do we do that? Go to operators again. It says pick a random between 1 to 10. So what we know we want to do is we want to pick a random number between 1 and the length of the list, which we know for now that it is 4. We can say 4, but once the length changes and it's no longer 4, this will be wrong. So what do? Do we put a number, or what do? We don't put a number, we put this, the length of width, which we can get from here in the variables. We say length, it's by default on recordings. We're going to put it here from 1 to length of recordings. So now we can bring it here on the list. So when this repeat loop is running, every single time it's running, it will choose the number of, it will set the value of a to be any value from 1 to the length of the list. You understand that? So any number can choose 1, 2, 3, or 4, which is the length of the list. Okay. Once we have chosen a random item from the recordings or the list, then we have to dictate to the learner to spell that item by saying, please spell item A from the list. Let us do that. How we do that is we play a sound. So we go to sound. In the sound tab, we want to play a sound until it's done. The first sound that we want to play is please spell, okay, which is spell the word. So we can put that in. After say spell the word, before we put it back there, let's play it and see.
Please spell the word.
So you can say, it says please spell the word. Then we want to say please spell the word item A from the list. Okay, then we bring that in. Please spell the word spring. Let's play.
Please spell the word spring.
It says please spell the word spring, but we don't want to tell it spring because it will say spring all the time. We want to say please spell the word A from the recordings. So we will use that variable. Okay.
Please spell the word summer.
Because A is 2 and 2 is summer. So it's working beautifully. Let's put it back in here. And then once the word is spelled, how will the word be spelled? The word is spelled by typing on the keyboard. That we use the sensing item where we are asking a question. We can ask what's your name, and then you type your name. But here we don't want to ask your name. We want to just leave a question mark. We say, please spell the word, and then it waits for the answer, and then the user will put in the answer. You will see once we start running this what will happen. Okay, what we can do is let's print this out again and show you.
Please spell the word summer.
Then it leaves out that, it tells you that. Then you can see summer, and then you press enter. Nothing happens because we have not told it what to do yet. We know that on the next level we need to check if the spelled word is correct by using if then else, which is here in the controls. If the spelled word, which is the answer to this question, is the same as item number A in the list, then it is correct, right? So we are saying if answer, which was typed here, is equal to answer is equal to item number A in the list of words. You understand that if answer equals to item number A in the list of words, item A in the list of words, then we know that the answer is true. So we can tell the learner that well done, the spelling is correct. And what else do? We remove the word from the list. So we are going to go to variables and delete item words, which is A, from the list. So we have clicked it and you can see that it has removed summer from the list. Let us just take it and snap it right below the play the sound as correct. So if the word is correct, we'll play the sound telling the learner that is correct, and then we will remove the words from the list. Else, we know that the learner has not spelled the word correctly, so we will have to tell them that. So we will play the sound. Which sound is that? It is incorrect, and then we do not do anything at this point. So I think at this point, let us try our program. Let us put this code inside the repeat loop, and then we connect these codes. I think it will work fine. I don't know what you guys think, but I think it will work fine. Let us see. We click the green flag. Sorry, we click the green flag.
Please spell the word autumn.
It says please spell the word autumn. A is 3, so it has chosen autumn. Then we can spell autumn. We can see it. So because of the fact that the list is already here, we can spell it, but let's just spell it wrong. We're just gonna spell it wrongly. We press enter or we click the check mark.
Sorry, that is incorrect. Please try again later.
It tells us
please spell the word autumn.
Okay, autumn. Let's spell it correct this time.
Great, that is correct. Please spell the word summer.
Summer. Enter.
That is correct. Please spell the word summer.
Summer again. So it has not changed. This is strange.
Sorry, that is incorrect. Please try again later. Please spell the word spring.
Spring.
Great, that is correct. Please spell the word spring.
spring, which is not there. So it's not working fine. It's working somewhat okay, but not okay all the time. So let us look why it is not working okay. We are removing the word. We are deleting A from words, but we are not removing A from the recordings, which is what we should also do, because it plays from the recordings. So let us say delete A from recordings as well. Delete variable A of recordings. Yeah, it's fine. Let us include it here. Let us stop this and let us run it for a while.
Spell the word spring.
Spring.
Great, that is correct. Please spell the word spring.
Spring. Why do we have spring? You see, we have a problem here.
Sorry, that is incorrect. Please try again later. Please spell the word spring.
It's asking for spring again, which we have removed. So we have a problem. Let us stop again and let's see. This is called debugging. Once you have done your code, we have to test it, and make sure that it works. And sometimes it just doesn't work the way you think it would. So you have to look why it's not working the way it should. So we say repeat length of words until length of words is 0. Then we pick a random from 1 to the length of words. Okay. And then we play the sound. We play sound A until done. Oh, okay. This is where the problem is. Right here where we are looking. It says play sound A until done, when it's supposed to say play sound item A of recordings, because it's not going to play sound 1, it's going to play sound item 1, which is sound 2. That's what is supposed to happen. Okay, that is fantastic. We have figured out what the problem is. It's the same thing as what we are doing here. Item A of words. Here we're supposed to say item A of recordings. So let us go into the variables and say item A of recordings. This should solve the problem entirely. But as I was saying, finding the bugs from the code or debugging the code is not such a straightforward thing. So you have to play it until it's doing exactly what you expect it to do. Then you can say it's working the way it's supposed to. Let us run it and see what is happening.
Please spell the word winter.
Okay, says winter. We're gonna spell it correctly.
That is correct. Please spell the word autumn.
Says autumn. Let us spell it wrong. It's spelled incorrectly. Let's see what happens.
Sorry, that is incorrect. Please try again later. Please spell the word autumn.
It's asking for autumn again. Let's spell it correct this time.
Great, that is correct. Please spell the word spring.
Spring. Let's spell it wrongly. Springer.
Sorry, that is incorrect. Please try again later. Please spell the word summer. Great, that is correct. Please spell the word spring. Great, that is correct.
Fantastic. It works exactly the way we are expecting to work. If we spell the word incorrectly, it does not remove it from the list. If we spell it correctly, it removes it from the list, and then we end up spelling all the words. The only thing that is missing here, at the end of the spelling test, it does not tell us that the spelling test is complete. So outside here of the repeat loop, we not play that sound. So we go to sounds. We say play sounds until complete, and the sound we are looking for is the default one, which is complete. Let us try again and let's see if it's working accordingly.
Please spell the word winter.
Winter.
Great, that is correct. Please spell the word summer.
Summer. Let's spell it wrong.
Sorry, that is incorrect. Please try again later. Please spell the word spring.
Spring.
Great, that is correct. Please spell the word autumn.
Autumn.
Great, that is correct. Please spell the word summer.
Summer.
Great, that is correct. Well done. You have completed the spelling bee test.
Okay, before we close the lesson, let us first remove the lists here, because the way the spelling bee test is working is asking the learner to spell the words which are already written here. So we want to hide this list so that when he says please spell the word, the learner cannot just look up the spelling here. So to do that, we go back to variables and then we uncheck the list. You see it's checked, it has a tick mark. We uncheck words, it disappears. We uncheck recordings, it disappears. We uncheck A. So now you see it looks clean and there's no ways that learner can just look at and find the spelling. So then let's look at it how it works for the one last time, and then we close the lesson. What I did is I have clicked on this tab here to increase the screen and make it full screen so that we can see clearly. Then I will click the green flag.
Please spell the word spring.
It's asking for spring.
Good, that's correct. Please spell the word winter.
Winter.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Please try again. Please spell the word autumn.
Autumn.
Good, that's correct. Please spell the word winter.
Winter. Winter.
Good, that's correct. Please spell the word summer.
Summer.
Good, that's correct. Well done. Test completed.
Okay, it works the way it's supposed to. Thank you very much, guys, for being with me in this lesson. We have completed this lesson, and I will see you again in the next coding lesson.